All right. Hi, folks. Jeff Kozlowski here with another live episode of the K Stream podcast. Excited to have the first recurring guest today on the podcast, actually. He's a longtime content strategist, host of the Business Storytelling Podcast, which is 300 plus episodes going strong, author of several books, including Content Performance Culture, and of course, an upcoming book launching here in March, so coming up soon, called Going Live. And he's also a full-time content strategist with Vox Pop Me, by the way. So, Christoph Trappe, welcome back. How are you?
Doing great. Full time, by the way. we're fitting it all together.
I know. It's amazing. Well, thank you again for coming back on. And it is so you're in Iowa, right? Is that right? So
Yeah,
and it's
Marion, Iowa.
did I see that it is minus, or it could be like minus 22 degrees there today or something?
Yeah, we went to softball earlier. It was minus 10 in the car, but I think the coldest earlier was minus 20. The record was minus 30 about 2 years ago. So I don't think we hit minus 30, but minus 20 we did hit earlier, I guess.
That's so softball in that weather. I guess you have to, in otherwise you wouldn't do anything. Oh, indoor. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Makes sense. Got it. Well, all right. So, and I guess before we jump into Amazon Live, today it is Super Bowl Sunday, and I do have to ask Christoph, if you have a little bit of you have a football history, kind of a football background, right? I always see the jersey in the background of your streams, and so you played a little bit of football, right?
Yeah, I played at Iowa in the 90s, so now I'm showing again how old I am. That's my jersey still back there. You can actually see my helmet down there, the way I'm currently sitting, and so definitely part of my history, so to speak.
And so, any prediction for the big game tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I just hope to see a good game. I got a feeling it will be a good game. I'm not against Brady. I'm not for Mahomes. I'm not anything like that. I think it's going to be a good game. Of course, what Brady has pulled with his career is just unbelievable to begin with. Does he need another one? I mean, every athlete will tell you they can take another one, but
right.
So we'll see. I hope it's a good game. I got a feeling it will be, and that's all I'm hoping for.
Same. Hoping for some entertainment. Okay, so I invited you back, Christoph, for to talk about a couple things. First off, Amazon Live, because I have been following your work on there since, and I think you've only really been consistently posting on the platform for not very long, maybe a few months now, right? And I just think it's, since you've been on Amazon Live, I've been starting to notice it recently when I've been searching for just like equipment, for that I want to buy. I'll notice in the products that there's an Amazon Live stream associated with it. So it's top of mind now. And so I want to talk about your work on there and just how other marketers or folks may want to, or how they can consider using it. But so first, just, talk about why you jumped on Amazon Live in the first place.
Yeah, I'm not even sure how it happened or where I saw that there was now an app, but it was before Thanksgiving, because Jim Fuchs and Chris Stone were on my podcast talking about it with me. Right as I started, I couldn't really figure out why I should do it, what's different, whatever. And what's interesting is, of course, I got a podcast. I got a live stream already. So I just started live streaming the podcast there, So when I interview people, excuse me, it would just go there, like with all the other channels, and that works to an extent. But a lot of other people do like product reviews, they talk about products. So some of my shows, there's no product associated with it, but that's kind of how I stumbled into it. And they got levels. So when I first did it, like the bottom level, they don't show to very many people. You have to promote it, which is fine. The next level up, they start showing it, what you mentioned earlier, on product pages. So for example, right now I'm live streaming our conversation, just the video from a camera back there, right? Camera, an iPhone on a tripod. And basically they can see what I'm doing, right? They can see my equipment. And it's really just like my setup for live stream podcasts. And basically, that's being live streamed to like the first 10 items. So I do both. I do some of those things, and then I also live stream my podcast there. It's kind of interesting because sometimes those behind the scenes videos, they get way more views than stuff that actually takes time.
Yeah, and that's I'm glad you mentioned that because some of the behind the scenes stuff that I've been noticing you post, and I'm going to let me share my screen here real quick because I pulled a couple of your tweets here or some of your recent tweets, and it's just it's so fun. I think the things you're doing, and clearly it's getting some engagement. So here you did one on your office treadmill, and so you mentioned you have that behind the back camera there, and of course you're kind of walking and talking with the front angle, and at the same time you're also promoting some of your other office equipment. Also, the cat cam was great. I think that's more of a fairly recent one, right? And so you were just kind of that went along with some of kind of cat related products that you can add to your queue there. And I couldn't find it before the show, but what I also noticed, and you and I talked about this not too long ago, is your vacuum cam getting. You can talk about the views on that, but talk about just some of the things you've done behind the scenes and the reaction it's getting specifically on Amazon.
Yeah, so I'm actually on Amazon. Somebody's complaining that there's no audio, and I said follow K-Stream Show on. I don't know if they're complaining, but they're mentioning it. So I thought I'd better respond quickly and say, hey, follow K-Stream Show on Facebook. That's where the audio is. This is just behind the scenes. Yeah, so I've done all those different things that you just showed there. The robot cam. I just put a iPhone on top of the robot vacuum cleaner, and it just sits there and live streams it cleaning the house. It had like the best ever was like 7,000 views. It's kind of crazy to think about that because as you might imagine, like you and I are talking, right? And I know we're just having a conversation, but this is still more work than that. Right? Because it takes time, you have to push buttons, you have to prepare, I had to prepare. So it's interesting how some of those shows have all these views. And I don't remember the cat show. We did that yesterday for the first time. I think it had, I don't know, a couple thousand views or something, and so it's just the cats. Every once in a while they lick each other. Every once in a while they get up. Every once in a while, they look at people walking by or something, but they're not doing anything. So it's interesting. And then actually yesterday we came home from a basketball tournament, and I live streamed the drive home. Super, wintry out and whatever. And I don't remember how many people there were, but I want to say maybe like 4,000 or something like that. And then at the bottom I had like the different products like dash cams, so my title was, do I need a dash cam? I don't know. I don't have one. And quite frankly, I don't drive very much right now, because we're all at home. So I think it's interesting. I think there's a mix to try those different things and, just see if you can build an audience, just see if you can build a following. And of course, the awesome thing, the nice thing about Amazon Life is when you look at the bottom, all those products, right? So every time somebody clicks and buys, you get a commission. Every time somebody clicks and buys something else for the next 24 hours, you get a commission. There's some, I don't know if it's going to make you a millionaire anytime soon, unless you have like, I don't know, tens of thousands of views or hundreds of thousands. I don't know what the right number is. But we like to buy new equipment. We like to do different things, so it helps us buy a new ring light or buy a new, tripod or whatever, or microphone. So from that perspective, I'm intent to keep doing it. I'm going to keep live streaming my podcast there. I'm going to keep live streaming other things. Like right now, we had 17 consecutive, I think that's the right term, right? At the same time,
Hmm.
Earned, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, at the same time, 17 viewers at the same time just on Amazon Live, which probably means that no, it just ended for some reason. They were technical issues, so I don't know why it ended, but it happens, So
Yep.
yeah, I think it's definitely worth trying.
Yeah, that's, I have found myself, like you said, when I'm searching for a product and a stream pops up there of, somebody showing off their equipment. I don't know why, but I'm hooked. I'm fascinated because, and I'll sit there and watch just somebody sitting at their desk talking about, and that, I mean, of course they have like super cool setup. I mean, they
Yeah.
have the lights and the just all of the equipment that I would ever want. And I think I sit there and I'm hooked, and I just love listening to these people give reviews on the stuff that they own, and of course give other options. It's been great. And like you said, I've found a lot of key pieces of equipment for my home office, for the personal streams I do and whatnot, and it's been great. Um, and you said, and I think I saw through your vacuum cam, you got some sales on that particular vacuum, right?
So all these, yes. So like the one day there was like 5 vacuums that were sold, and I kind of made the joke on social on other channels. Do I need to add vacuum cleaner salesman to my LinkedIn? But I didn't really do anything other than put the camera on top of the vacuum cleaner and then, start it. And then I went back and did other stuff. So I didn't like do anything really. But yeah, there's been, I don't know what the right number is, maybe like $30,000 in shipped items from Amazon, this month or whatever in the last month.
Hmm.
So, I don't know. I mean, I think it's worth trying. It's not, not going to make or break your business, but it's another way to get out there in front of people.
And want to talk a little bit about the sign up process to be able to stream on Amazon because I tried to go through the process myself, and so there it looks like there's a few ways. So if you're kind of a certified, I don't know if certified is the right word, but like an Amazon associate, if you have an Amazon Associates account that has sold a certain amount, or you have a following on other social platforms of a certain number. They don't tell you, but you can put in a link to your channel that you want them to kind of base off of on your application, and they determine whether or not you can stream. And I think there are a couple ways. Can you talk about that sign up process a little bit and see what that's like? I know you had kind of already established a following on other platforms, so it may have been fairly quick for you.
Well, so I didn't sign up recently. I signed up a long time ago. And here's the reason why that's important. Every time there's something new, just sign up, even if you don't do it. Clubhouse, even if you have no clue what you're gonna do with Clubhouse, just sign up. Like seriously, that's all I do. And then all I do is send out invites. I don't do anything on Clubhouse. I'm trying to integrate it into my podcast. But my point is, I signed up for the Amazon. So there's multiple ways. Let me back up a little bit. There's multiple ways to be on Amazon Live. One is you have to have like a seller account. You can apply. I don't know much about that area, but if you're a seller on Amazon, and I sell stuff on Amazon too, but it's different how I do it. And then the Amazon influencer program, right? And that's really through their affiliate program. So I signed up for that. I don't know how long ago, but it was not recent. It was probably 3 years ago. And I didn't do anything with it, like nothing. I mean, I have affiliate links on my website, and when I share a book, I share my affiliate link. But really, I wouldn't have thought about myself as an Amazon influencer. But I did apply. I did get in years ago, and now they rolled this out. So I was already in. I didn't have to apply again because, like, I usually just apply, just get out of the way, And but either way, you can apply for that if you're not in there yet. You do have to have a certain amount of following, as you mentioned. And then once you're in, you can just basically go live. You have to be on your mobile device. I'm not sure if it's only iOS currently. I'm an Apple guy. I got an iPad and an iPhone. And but that's basically how you do it. I actually, I very rarely use only the app. There's an app, the Amazon Live app. I usually stream out a switcher into the app, Switcher Studio, and then do that. And sometimes I do that is because I got that robot driving around my house and it's live streaming. And on Switcher, I can mute the sound. So how I did here, so people can't necessarily hear every word that's being said in my house because I'm actually working, so that's how I do it. I don't know if that might have been the problem for that live stream to end, because they ended my live stream while we were on and they said there's a technical problem. I didn't see one, but there was no sound. So maybe that's a new thing. Now I have to keep the sound on, or maybe somebody said, I can't hear your sound. So they thought, okay, that's the reason. Like maybe
Red flag.
red flag. I don't know. But with the cats, I had the sound muted and it didn't turn it off. So yeah, just apply. You do have to have a following. So again, that's the reason why you want to build your networks, right? Even if you don't use them much, but so you can say, look, on Twitter, we have that many followers, on YouTube. But I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but why you want to do everything right away. I have a YouTube account that doesn't meet the qualifications to be like in the partner program currently. But since I've had it for so long, it's a partner and it has all those things, all those features, right? And I was like, how come I can't duplicate this on something else? And I was like, it's because this account, it's like 13 years old, and it's grandfathered in. So my point is, once you're in usually, right? It's not, you don't lose it. So that's why you want to do it right away and don't have, 6 months of committee meetings to decide whether you could sign up for a Clubhouse account. The answer is yes, you should.
There's nothing wrong with at least reserving a spot, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and I was wondering that about your vacuum cams and the cat cam. I was thinking, like, did you have to tell everybody in the house to just be quiet for a while, or so that makes sense to go to go live on mute. So what, talk a little bit, and you hit on a little bit earlier. How do you kind of determine what's in your queue when you're going live on Amazon? And maybe in addition to that, I know you go live with your podcast on multiple channels. And last time you were on my podcast, you mentioned, you really only bringing people on Amazon Live if they have like a book or something that you can also promote. So that sounds like, okay, that's a good rule of thumb there. If there's no product maybe associated with it, it doesn't make sense. But so what, and so in your queue, it sounds like you're not only putting things in there that you already own, but kind of things that are related.
So it's funny how things evolve. I don't know when I said that to you and that was true at the time, but today we go live on Amazon Live no matter what, because why not, quite frankly. And so here's a few things that are at the bottom of every live stream. This microphone, people do actually buy this microphone. This chair, I'm not a gamer, but these gaming chairs are just awesome. So comfortable, and that's on there too. It's right at the bottom. The ring light, it's on there, even though you can't see it. But I am starting to wonder, this is why it's so awesome to evolve this. I am starting to wonder if I should just have like the back camera on every live stream. So like you flip to it why not? Like, why not have that running so people can see it? I used to have that camera over there so you could see the ring light. But the problem is, I do actually work, right, during the day. I mean, most of the day I work full-time for Vox Pop Me, like a regular day. And so I use that same camera for meetings. And on meetings, it's kind of weird to like have the ring. So I think it's weird. Nobody ever said anything about that. But moving it around, it's actually a pain, quite frankly. So I don't want to do that. So I kind of did this setup. And then I was thinking maybe I should put another camera over there and I can flip to that. But now I'm thinking maybe I should have a camera from over this way. I don't know. It's but yeah, so we always go live there now. Like tomorrow I have Lyron Sege, who does not have a book, but we're still going to stream it there because people will watch it. And then if somebody wants to buy a chair or a mic because they see it, I mean, go for it, right?
Yeah, you really kind of have to think outside the box there a little bit, you can easily find a connection. It's like, even if your guest has nothing to sell, you got to think about how you're talking to them. So you're talking to them via podcast, you stream that anyway, you have a setup for your podcast, which you got a lot of equipment from on Amazon likely. So that's interesting. I also, so anything else, Christoph, worth mentioning on Amazon Live before we move on to the book?
I mean, I would try it, apply, see what works. And the other thing is, I know we're going to talk about the book. But you should write a book. Like if you're a content person out there, or you're an expert in a vertical, having a book can really help with credibility. And if you're already creating content, creating a book is not that difficult, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing is, then you put that book in your Amazon reel at the bottom, right? And people can buy your book. So then you get the commission, and you get whatever the royalty is. So now I'm not, if you only do it for the money, good luck. It's going to take a while. But my point is, or I got these T-shirts. I don't know if you got yours, but
It's
Jeff
on the way.
For the book. So like somebody buys the shirt. I don't know if anybody cares, but Max Branster's shirt, who's one of the contributors like you are, a bunch of people bought it, So there's that. So figure out what do people might want to buy, what can you offer, and I think it's kind of cool to create these different things and different experiences. But make it part of your overall strategy. I live stream there through Switcher, and then if I do a podcast, I ship that to Restream, and then Restream pushes it to Amazon, Twitter, Periscope, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I mentioned at the top, it's the Amazon audience is just gigantic and so diverse with so many different interests, and now I can see why like people like my wife watch people try clothes on Amazon, like or I know people that are interested in watching makeup tutorials and whatnot. I like I said, I will sit there all day and watch people talk about their desk setup. So yeah, it is it's an interesting platform and worth like you said, at least trying to signing up and seeing where it goes. So before we jump off of here, I definitely want to spend a few minutes talking about the upcoming book. It's called Going Live, and it focuses on live streaming, particularly live streaming a podcast, right? Kind of it takes that angle. But so talk, give us some the synopsis of the book, kind of what it covers, and when people can look out for it.
Well, you can already order it, pre-order it, authenticstorytelling.net/going-live. And basically, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, I could have just done a book on live streaming in general because churches do it, everybody does it. But that's like a whole nother book. Is how to go live with your podcast. And the reason this is important is because more and more companies are now doing podcasts. How are you going to stand out? And podcasting, I'm a big fan, 100, whatever it's been, 150,000 downloads or whatever, but it's going to get more and more crowded. What's not crowded yet? Live streaming your podcast. And it's so easy to actually do it if you think about it, because, I don't know how your workflow is, but when I do a podcast that's live, I go live on all the channels. I take the file, I push it into Anchor. Anchor extracts the audio, and if I want to edit it, I can edit it, and if I don't, I'm done. Right? So it's super easy. There's no extra steps other than you're on air, you're live. But don't think of going live like you're on TV. Just have a conversation. It's fine. Like my kid walks in, my cat jumps on my chair, on my lap. Who cares? Like whatever. It's 2021. So I think that's a real differentiator for brands. And there's so many podcasts that over edit everything, like, oh my God. And I started I produced the Real Talk, the Customer Insights show for Vox Pop Me. And I edit, but I don't over edit, right? But when you listen to some shows, like I saw one the other day and it was actually the video was edited and you could see their head moving because they cut out stuff in between. And I'm like, that's more distracting than anything. So when you do a live stream, it really shows the authenticity. It really moves people away from being so nitpicky, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and so you said, and sorry, say that one more time. You said it is available for pre-order now, and it officially launches on what date?
March 10th.
Okay. That's awesome. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's a pleasure being, appreciate you including me on that and adding me as a contributor. I can't wait to see the final product. But yeah, that's, that's something you mentioned, like over editing and thinking thinking too much about live streaming. It is so easy to get caught up in all the all the cool stuff you can do. Like like every streaming platform a lot of them have such cool features and kind of unique tools that you can make things fun. And people can also, I think, get caught up on just like being too perfect or too, and like you said, and I think especially in the midst of a pandemic when everybody is home now, we kind of all have been, most of us are in this remote work environment and dealing with kids or pets or just everything that goes on around our house during the workday, and we've seen it all in the meetings and virtual meetings that we have. It's just, like you said, it's, who cares if the dog barks or if somebody runs in? It's so easy to overthink all of this. And honestly, that's what, I was kind of holding myself back, I think, from starting my own personal podcast and streaming it in particular, for quite some time, just because I thought about that. It's just like, well, what if I, say something stupid or I think like imposter syndrome is a big thing there that you can get in your head. But it's like you said, it's like, who cares? It is an easy, for the most part, way to reach a new audience, to develop that authenticity, get people. I feel like you can get to know somebody almost through watching their live streams, and it's it is easy to overthink that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's common that everybody does that when they first start, I do it too. But here's the thing. You're going to say something stupid. I say stupid stuff all the time. That's, and some people disagree. So what? Like, that just means people are actually paying attention. So I have a very low threshold for like, oh, it's okay. It's fine. Wasn't the best. And if you listen to some of my first shows, they're horrible, but whatever, they are. I'm not going to delete them. So, we learn and grow as we go.
Yeah. And going on, in addition to, you were talking about your process earlier, it is, like you mentioned, after this, I'm going to download both the video and the audio, because then we're going on almost 30 minutes here. I'll have 30 minutes of video. I can then clip and add to other social channels, which I love to do. And then I have the full audio. I'm with you. I don't do much editing. I'll clip off the beginning bit of silence, and maybe if there's a little bit at the end, I'll clip that off, or maybe at the end if there's anything specific to a stream, like if I'm reading comments or something, maybe I'll cut that off. But that's easy editing, and you can do it all within Anchor. And once that publishes, that goes to pretty much everywhere.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Easy breezy.
Easy breezy. So anything else on the book, Christoph, before we jump off?
No, I hope people check it out, and it's an easy way to push your podcast further. And the other thing too is, when you first start your podcast, just something to keep in mind, your numbers are pretty low, right? So if you push it to social media, so instead of coming back to whoever wants to know, instead of saying, oh yeah, we had 10 listens or whatever, or 20 listens, or whatever the number might be, on the podcast channels, you can say, look, we've had 550 downloads and listens, right? And that includes your live stream. And especially when you first start, that's, people are going to tune in depending what networks you use. I guess it depends on that. But people will pay attention. So the numbers are better. And that's another reason why I would definitely try it.
Absolutely. And I just thought of one more thing I wanted to ask. So, we talked about kind of what the overview of the book and what people can expect, but more, specifically, like how specific do you get? Can people look for like equipment recommendations in there, or like, and is it, do you look at different channels and how that kind of stuff works?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we're not comparing a ton of equipment, but I am sharing some of the equipment that I've used over the years, some of the equipment, how it works. So for example, I'm now at home all the time. So this setup works for me, right? When I was traveling all the time, this setup may have worked for me when I was here, but it didn't work when I was not here. So I used AirPods a lot. I mean, I still use AirPods, but not usually to record and do a live stream. And so it talks about those different use cases. It talks about those different things. And we talk about that. But then we also talk about how do you get going? What's your strategy? How do you tie it all together? How do you use Anchor? How do you use Switcher Studio? How do you use Restream? If you don't like those two companies, use a different one. There's other companies out there. Those are the ones I use, and that's why I share how it works in there. And then there's other tricks, different variables on what you can do. So many different things that you can try. I mean, think about it. We were just brainstorming on this show, right? I mean, I was like, oh, maybe I should do that on every live stream to have the thing from the back. It's kind of weird because I got like watching a football team socks on, I have shoes on, so you can see everything. And this side of the office isn't necessarily like set up to be live streamed, honestly, but I could take that as an opportunity to clean. So I talk about all those different things. How do you get started? How do you integrate it? And then, how do you make decisions on what you want to do?
That's awesome. Well, looking forward to it, Christoph, and can't wait to check it out. Thank you again for taking the time to hop on the podcast today. We set this up, I think yesterday. So appreciate you being willing to jump on at a moment's notice and talk Amazon and the new book.
Of course. Hey, thanks for having me, and thanks for contributing to the book. Definitely appreciate it.
Of course. It's an honor to be part of it. All right. Thanks, everybody.